Good afternoon to everyone, depending on where you're joining us from. We want to thank you for joining us for today's webinar, Thrive Together, where we focus on financial literacy and budgeting. Oops, sorry about that. New Life Skills Foundation is presenting today's webinar, and we are a 501c3 charitable public foundation that operates solely on grants, public funding, and donations received. Before I introduce you to Sydney, I would like to cover a few housekeeping topics. Today's webinar is being recorded. After the event is complete, we will upload the video to our website at nlsfmi.org. You are welcome to revisit the content yourself and share it with friends, family members, or colleagues. Cameras and microphones have been disabled. However, we invite your comments and questions. Please look at the Q&A chat box on your screen. If you think of a question for Sydney at any point, just type it in there, and I will pose the question to Sydney during our Q&A portion towards the end of the event. At this time, I'm going to hand the floor to Sydney, who's going to start today's presentation. Sydney, it's all yours.
Hi, everyone, and welcome. I'm so glad you could join us today. As Dawn stated, my name is Sydney, and I'll be leading today's session on financial literacy with a focus on budgeting. Now, just a brief introduction, my background isn't in finance, and I don't have a formal degree in the field, but I've been passionate about budgeting and personal finance since I was 18 years old, and over the years, I've built these habits into my daily life. And I've seen how powerful small, consistent steps can be. That's why I'm here, not to talk to you like an expert, but to share what I've learned in a way that's real, practical, and approachable. My hope is that this presentation feels relatable and achievable, because the truth is you don't need a financial background to take control of your money. So here's what you can expect from the session. By the end of our time together, you'll be able to 1. Understand the core concepts of financial literacy, 2. Learn about different budgeting styles and how to choose one that fits you. 3. Explore free tools and methods that make budgeting easier. And lastly, walk away with a 7-day challenge to help you start putting what you learn into action. Now, this isn't a lecture, it's a conversation. I want you to think about how these ideas apply to your own life as we go. So, why is financial literacy important? First, it gives you power. Power to say yes to the things that you want and no to the things that don't serve you. It also creates a sense of security. You can prepare for emergencies, avoid unnecessary debt, and feel less overwhelmed by money decisions. And finally, it creates opportunity. When you understand how money works, you can take advantage of the things like investing, saving for goals, or even starting a business one day. Now let's break it down into 5 key areas of financial literacy. Number 1, budgeting, the foundation. This is what we'll be talking a little bit more in depth about in today's session. Now, budgeting is about knowing what money is coming in and where it is going. Next is savings, setting aside money regularly so you're ready for the unexpected and can plan for your future. Number 3, investing, growing your money through tools like stocks or retirement accounts. Number 4, debt management, knowing how to handle credit cards, loans, and repayment strategies. And lastly, financial planning, setting short-term and long-term goals and working towards them with intention. When you start building even basic skills in each of these areas, you're setting yourself up for long-term success. Now, what is a budget? Think of a budget as a roadmap. It gives your money direction and keeps you in the driver's seat. A budget isn't meant to restrict you, it's actually meant to give you clarity and control. It helps you avoid overspending, makes room for savings, and plan for the things that really matter. It can also reduce money-related stress by giving you a clear picture of where things stand. Now, how to create a budget. We're going to walk through the basic steps in building a budget. Number one is tracking your spending. This is when you record everything for at least 30 days using apps, spreadsheets, or even a notebook. This is for you to look for patterns. How much are you spending on food, subscriptions, or entertainment? Number two, determine your income. Include all sources like salary, side gigs, and benefits. Number three, list your expenses. Separate your fixed expenses like rent and utilities, and then variable expenses like groceries and gas. And don't forget savings and debt payments. Number four, set savings and goals. Think about emergency funds, big purchases, travel, or retirement. Number five, build your plan. Choose a budgeting method and assign your income to categories. And then number six, review and adjust. Life changes, so your budget should too. Revisit it every month to make sure it still works for you. So now we're going to talk about some different budgeting tools that are available. So thankfully, you don't have to do this all on your own. There are several different apps that you can use. There's some all-in-one apps and some simple trackers. So we're talking about a few here. Mint is the first one. It's a great option if you like everything in one place. It tracks your bills, monitors your credit score, and it categorizes your spending automatically. I've used Mint before I used the Chase app, and it's a great app that does everything in one. Then there's Personal Capital. It's perfect if you're looking to track your investments along with your day-to-day spending. It gives you a full picture of your financial health. Then there's Pocket Guard, which helps you see how much you have left to spend after covering bills and essentials. It's great if you want to stay within your budget and avoid overspending. Then we have some simple trackers. This is for someone who prefers more simple tools or more hands-on tracking. Um, One example, Spendy. It lets you track expenses, get reminders for bills, and even creates shared wallets for group budgets. Good Budget is one that we're going to talk about a little bit later as well. It uses the envelope method, but in a digital format. It's great for organizing money by category and helps prevent overspending. And then Wally is great for scanning receipts, setting savings goals, and managing money across different currencies. All these tools have free versions, so you can test them out and find out which works best for your lifestyle. So now we're going to talk about different types of budgets. So there's no right way to budget. There's different personalities, income levels, and spending styles, which all call for different systems. We're going to talk about some four most common budgeting methods, but there's several different methods out there that you guys can do your own research and kind of figure it out. But the ones that we'll talk about in this session are zero-based budgeting, the envelope system, 50-30-20 budget, and the pay yourself first budget. And in the next few slides, we're going to go through each of these in more detail so you can see which one might fit your life the best. Okay, so we're going to start with the first budgeting method, which is the zero-based budgeting. Now, this one is all about intention. So you're going to start by listing your total income for the month, and then you're assigning every single dollar a job, whether it's for rent, food, savings, or entertainment, and so forth, until your income minus your expenses equals zero. That doesn't mean you spend everything. It means that everything is accounted for. Nothing is left floating or untracked. So on the right side here, I have an example of a example budget on a $2,500 monthly income. As you can see, there's $900 for rent, $350 for groceries, $200 for debt payments, and so on. As you can see, every dollar has a job, and the total adds up to exactly $2,500. Now, this method is great for people who want full control over their money, especially if your income varies from month to month, or you're working towards a specific goal. It takes a little more time up front, but it gives you total visibility and helps you make intentional, confident choices with your money. So now we're going to talk about another budgeting method called the envelope system. Now, you don't need to use real envelopes. Apps can do the same thing nowadays. So this method divides cash into physical or digital envelopes for each category, like groceries in one envelope, gas in the other, and dining out in the other. Now you allocate a certain amount of money in each envelope, and once that envelope is empty, you stop spending in that category. Now, like we talked about before, there's tools like Good Budget Every Dollar that offer the system digitally. Now, this method is really great for people who want to feel more connected to their money or struggle with impulse spending. It's also easy to use and very beginner friendly. Now we have the 50-30-20 budget method. This method is one of the simplest to get started with, especially if you have a steady income. It works like this: 50% of your income goes towards needs, things like rent, food, transportation, and minimum debt payments. 30% goes to wants, things that are nice to have but not essential. This might include takeout, hobbies, or entertainment. And the remaining 20% goes towards savings and debt payments beyond the minimum. This could be building your emergency fund, saving for a goal, or paying off a loan faster. This budget keeps things balanced without getting too detailed. It's a great starting point for anyone who just is beginning to budget. And lastly, we have the pay yourself method. With this method, you start by deciding how much you want to save each month. Instead of saving whatever is left after your spending, you flip the script. You save first, ideally through automatic transfers, and then you live on what's left. This is the method that I personally use as it makes saving a priority, and it works really well for people who want to build long term wealth but find it hard to put money aside consistently. The key is to treat savings like a non negotiable expense, just like rent or utilities, and over time, this habit really does pay off. So now I'm going to just talk about an example of how someone might budget their money. So let me introduce you to Jasmine. She earns $2,500 a month in take-home pay and uses the pay yourself method to budget. So she starts by tracking her spending using her bank's app, which is the Chase app, and then she uses a custom Excel spreadsheet where she lists all her recurring expenses and decides how much she wants to save each month before budgeting anything else. Jasmine then automates her transfers to her savings and retirement accounts so she won't have to think about it. If you can try enrolling in an employer savings plan like a 401k, ESOP, or even set up a direct deposit into your own IRA or savings account. Automating it makes a huge difference. Now, with Jasmine, whatever money was left after saving, she uses to cover her monthly needs and personal spending. Now, let's look at how her budget breaks down. So, around $1,250 goes towards needs like her mortgage, car payment, groceries, phone, and bill. About $325 is spent on wants like dining out, self-care, and entertainment, and $400 goes directly to savings and investing automatically each month. Jasmine's approach helps her stay consistent, prioritize her future, and still enjoy life along the way. Now I'm going to transition and show you guys a sample Excel that you could use to track your expenses and income. So this Excel has been modeled after Jasmine's budget. And if we go to the expenses tab, you can see that all of her expenses are listed. These are recurring expenses that she has every month, and they're all listed right there. And then if you go to the monthly income tab, you can see that her monthly income is listed there. She only has one source of income, which is from her work. And then if you go to the monthly savings tab, we can see that she has $200 that goes directly into her 401k with every paycheck, and then $200 that goes into her high yield savings account. And this Excel is really handy because if you go to the summary tab, you can see your a very nice, simple monthly summary of your income, your expenses, your savings, and it shows you exactly how much cash you have left. So the cool thing about this Excel is it shows exactly how much money you have left. And this is really useful regardless of what budgeting method you ultimately choose. For example, if you were to choose to use Excel for the zero-based budgeting method, you would just want the cash balance section to equal 0. So now we're going to move on to talking about the bigger picture beyond monthly budgeting. We're going to talk a little bit about saving, investing, managing debt, and SMART goals, things that we'll go a little bit more in depth on in a future presentation. But I also want to talk about, on the left side, you can see a few budgeting myths that are common that I want to discuss really briefly. So the first myth is that budgeting means you can't have any fun. Now, that's not true. A good budget includes room for joy, hobbies, and other things that you care about. Another myth is that I don't earn enough. The truth is, budgeting becomes even more important when money is tight because it helps you stretch your dollar and prioritize what matters most. And finally, credit cards are an emergency plan. Credit cards are not an emergency plan. They might feel like a quick fix, but using them for emergencies usually leads to debt and added stress. A real emergency plan is having savings set aside so you can handle unexpected expenses without relying on credit. So now let's start with saving. So saving is your financial safety net. It gives you security, peace of mind, and the freedom to make choices for your future. Start with an emergency fund, enough to cover 3 to 6 months of essential expenses. From there, save for short term goals like a trip, a car, or long term goals like a home or retirement. The key with saving is consistency. Even $10 or $20 a week adds up over time if you stick with it. Automating your savings can make it feel even more effortless. So, next is debt. Now, what is debt? Debt is money borrowed that must be repaid with interest, but not all debt is created equal. There is good debt and bad debt. Good debt, like student loans or a mortgage, can help you build long term value or increase your earning potential. Bad debt, like high interest credit card balances, can hold you back financially if not managed carefully. Now, understanding the differences between the two and having a plan to pay down debt is key to building financial stability and staying in control of your money. Finally, let's bring it all together with SMART goals. This is how you turn your hopes into action. So, what does SMART stand for? Specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, and time bound. Specific. What exactly do you want to achieve? Measurable. What will you track or how will you track your progress? Achievable. Is it realistic given your current situation? And relevant. Does this goal align with your values and priorities? And lastly, time bound. What is your deadline? So instead of saying, I want to save more, you'd say, I want to save $500 in the next 3 months by putting away $42 each week. That kind of clarity makes it easier to stay motivated and reach your target. Alrighty, so let's quickly just review what we've covered today. So, number one, track your spending first. This is the pre-step to budgeting and how you get a clear picture of your habits. Number two, choose a budgeting method. Whether it's 50-30-20, pay yourself first, or something else, pick what fits your lifestyle. Number three, use helpful tools. Apps and spreadsheets can make budgeting easier and less overwhelming. And finally, adjust as needed. A budget isn't set in stone. Life changes and your budget should too. But the biggest takeaway is that you don't need to be perfect. You just need to start. So, financial literacy is very powerful, but it only works if you put it into practice. So, I'm going to give you guys a 7-day budget challenge to get you guys started. So, day one, you're going to track your dollar, every dollar you spend for 1 week. Day two, you're going to categorize your spending into needs, wants, and savings. Day three, you're going to set one realistic financial goal for the next month. Day four, choose a budgeting method to try, like the 50-30-20 method. Day five, share your goal with an accountability partner. Day six, create a weekly reminder to review your budget. Day seven, reflect on what you learned about your spending habits. So try it out. You might be surprised by what you discover about your monthly and money habits. Now, if you want to keep learning, there are many free and low cost resources available. Some books like Rich Dad Poor Dad and The Total Money Makeover offer powerful lessons about money management. And websites like NerdWallet and Investopedia are full of practical advice, calculators, and how to guides. You can also take free online courses from platforms like Coursera or Khan Academy to continue building your financial confidence. Now, we encourage you guys to take the first step today, whether it's tracking your spending or picking a budget tool, every bit of effort counts. So feel free to reach out to us at info@nlsfmi.org if you have any questions. Now you can scan the QR code on the screen or visit the link provided to complete our feedback survey. Your feedback helps us improve and make these workshops even more helpful and engaging in the future. But thank you so much for your time and participation today. Now we'll open the floor for questions. Please enter your questions into the chat.
So, Sydney, we don't have any questions as of this moment.
Mhm.
I would recommend if those people that want to ask questions to use the email we provided, the info@nlsfmi.org, and we'll be happy to reach back out to you with the answers.
Perfect. So thank you all once again for your time and attention today. Your support and engagement means a lot to us. If you found value in our presentation and would like to help us continue our work, we would greatly appreciate any donations. Your contributions will enable us to provide opportunity to help others along the way. So please scan the QR code on your screen to donate. And finally, let's stay connected. You can follow New Life Skills Foundation on social media or visit our website at nlsfmi.org for more tools, resources, and upcoming events. We are here to support you on your journey to financial independence. And thank you again for being here today.
Thank you, Sydney. Much appreciated. Again, if you guys want to visit us at the website listed above, it'll have our information and today's presentation along with our social media accounts as well. I hope everyone has a great day. And again, Sydney, thank you so much.
Thank you, Dawn.